think the abortion clinics, what do you think Planned Parenthood, these organizations are thinking right now? I'm sure we've seen them shrieking, we've seen them freaking out over all of this. So what do you think their plan is at this point? What are they plotting, I guess, moving forward, do you think?
Yeah, well, they are in many ways, they don't know quite how to handle the situation that we're in thanks to President Trump. It's one of the reasons why there's been so much hatred against him over these years that he's been president, because they know that the courts have been largely transformed. So he has put hundreds of pro-life judges in at every level of the federal courts. And as a result of that, that has emboldened the states to pass more protective laws like Mississippi and Texas have done. So they're stuck between, do we continue to use the courts, or are the courts slipping away from us, and do we have to resort to some other kind of strategy? They tried in certain states like New York and over these recent years to use the legislature where they saw an opening. And when I say an opening, I mean, you got a pro-abortion governor, pro-abortion legislature. Well, then you can implement your agenda. But if the Republicans control any part of that equation, they get blocked. The pro-abortion gets blocked. And so they've tried it in certain states with some success. But now I think they're talking. They've been for a long time also working on a strategy to try to make abortion as do-it-yourself as possible. And we've seen, the shift from surgical abortion to chemical abortion in large measure, large percentage increase in that. In some areas, some 40% of the abortions are through the medication rather than through the surgery. And the other side is always trying to say, well, let's make this as much of a do-it-yourself procedure as possible, so that we can bypass more and more of these laws that might regulate the clinics, or laws that might regulate other aspects of providing abortions. They can only go so far with that, however, but that's one of the things that they are furiously trying to engineer. The other thing, when you take a step back to say, well, what are they going to do about all this? They're always trying to make abortion declared to be an international right. And by that strategy, and we're involved in these battles at the United Nations, for example, and at other international bodies, they're actually trying to sidestep the individual laws and policies that might be put in place by individual nations. So whatever our courts do, whatever our legislatures do, the Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry are always looking beyond that and saying, well, if we establish this as an international right, and we establish international mechanisms to put pressure on nations to legalize abortion, then we'll be able to get beyond these problems. And it's not so easy to pressure the United States that way, but they put this pressure already on smaller countries, developing countries, especially countries that rely on us for help and aid. Shamefully, these abortion organizations and the pro-abortion administrations, like the Biden administration, will actually say to these countries, if you want to receive our help, you have to relax your abortion laws, and you have to permit this. And that is it's such an assault on human dignity, and it's so offensive.